This is Session 3, Subject Assessment Plans and Schedules. It is Topic 2.3 of Module 2. Remember that failing to plan is planning to fail. However, we can phrase this in a more positive way as succeeding to plan is planning to succeed. Planning is important. For this reason, you need to have a subject assessment plan and a subject assessment schedule for your students. You cannot implement ICASS without these. We will deal with two aspects of planning, namely, subject assessment plans made by and for lecturers, and subject assessment schedules made for students. First, the subject assessment plan. Make sure that you follow these steps when making a subject assessment plan. First of all, a subject work scheme for each subject needs to be developed. Once the subject work scheme has been developed, the subject head or coordinator needs to identify the lecturers responsible for the setting and moderation of assessment tasks and tools. Where the same subject is offered on various campuses, it is important that coordination takes place to ensure that all campuses of the same college follow the same subject assessment plan. Remember that all assessment plans must be submitted to the academic head of the college for approval prior to the commencement of teaching and learning in the academic period. Examples of subject assessment plans will not be discussed in this module because you can find these examples for all programs in your ICASS templates. Please base your planning on these. For examples of subject assessment plans for Report 191 programs, refer to the ICASS templates for Report 191 programs. The trimester programs are in Section B, Annexure T1. The semester programs are in Section C, Annexure S1. For examples of subject assessment plans for NCV qualifications, refer to the following. For fundamental subjects, refer to the ICASS templates for NCV qualifications Annexure A. For vocational subjects, refer to the ICASS templates for NCV qualifications also in Annexure A. As mentioned before, these templates speak for themselves and no further discussion on this is needed. Now, we'll discuss the use of the subject assessment schedule. Do you think that students can cope without a subject assessment schedule? Definitely not. Just as the lecturer needs to plan for an academic trimester, semester, or year, the student also needs to plan for his or her year. It is therefore vital that the students are provided with a schedule that indicates the type of assessment task, the content to be covered, the time and mark allocation, and the date of assessment. This should be drawn directly from the subject assessment plan. Please refer to your ICASS templates. We will not discuss them, as they speak for themselves. For Report 191 programs, please refer to the ICASS templates for Report 191 programs. Trimester subjects are in Annexure T2. Semester subjects are in Annexure S2. For NCV programs, please refer to the ICASS templates for NCV qualifications in Annexure B. Before proceeding, complete Activity 3. Please pause the video now. Before we look at the types of assessment, we need to think about a few things. General principles for setting ICASS components. Firstly, assessment tasks can be set and administered by a single campus, or they may be set by one campus and shared with other campuses of a college or other colleges. If assessment tasks are shared between campuses, then measures should be put in place to prevent assessment information from being passed between students from different campuses. Remember that assessment tasks need to be carefully designed and weighted so that they cover the subject, learning outcomes, and syllabi of each subject. Tasks should be designed so that a variety of knowledge and skills are assessed. A large part of the content should be covered. subject and different cognitive levels are covered. Assignments should be designed so that students are required to find information and to apply knowledge and skills. Students should be required to use critical thinking and decision-making skills. Questions needing only straightforward answers should be avoided. This will ensure that there is a strong correlation between the degree of difficulty for internal assessments and the external examination. Remember that setting easy internal assessments could lead to inflated ICASS marks that would be lowered through standardization to the external written paper results. Now we will consider different types of assessments in detail. It is very important to understand the different types of assessments, such as assignments, tests, projects, and practical assignments/assessments, including set and moderated ISATs and PATs. Assignments can be either theoretical or practical, or a combination of both. Students should have to use a combination of procedures and techniques so that they have to demonstrate the required skills. Assessments are not just about rewriting text from sources. They should include critical thinking and decision-making skills. The main purpose of tests is to assess theoretical knowledge. A test can be practical or written, and may include both the application of skills and/or competencies. Tests must also reflect different cognitive levels. Practical assignments/assessments with specific reference to NCV qualifications, including set and moderated ISATs and PATs. The PATs for vocational subjects, levels 3 and 4, are standardized and moderated. Report 191 programs do not have an ISAT or PATs. Make sure that you're aware of the following points. Practical assessments should not duplicate the ISAT, but should cover a substantial amount of content. Ideally, a practical assessment should be assessed using a rubric or checklist and not by a marking memorandum alone. The artifacts or evidence produced by students can be similar, but should not be identical. The actual demonstration of skills and knowledge should take place under controlled conditions. There are several examples of practical assignments, such as research assignments, model building, letter writing, conducting a job interview, doing a presentation, doing a drama presentation, calculating interest rates, developing posters, and conducting experiments in a laboratory or workshop. Tasks must be structured using different cognitive levels so that they have a title, a method or procedure, and a conclusion. Internal examinations can be either practical or a written paper, or a combination of both. Assessment plans should reflect a balance between practical and written papers where applicable, and should include a substantial amount of detail. Mark allocations and duration of assessments should be in accordance with nationally set papers for the specific subject. They must reflect a range of different cognitive levels and adhere to subject guidelines or syllabi, and assessment guidelines. Always remember that a project should be a comprehensive real-world task that needs planning, research, and implementation. Evidence of implementation should accompany the task. The task or project should then be submitted in at least 3 parts. Part 1 should show evidence of implementation. Part 2 should be the presentation of the project in class. Part 3 should include an individual reflection on the learning acquired during the project. Groups for project work should never exceed 6, and there should be clear evidence of the role and contributions of each group member in completing the project. Now complete Activity 4. Please pause the video now. With this, we end Session 3 of Module 2. In Session 3, we covered how to plan using subject assessment plans, and where to find examples of subject assessment plans. We also looked at how to use the subject assessment schedule through considering a few general principles, and we reflected on the different types of assessments.